Yes. So in the previous classes, we have discussed almost four problems. After that, now we have to see the problem number five in holding company accounts. So let us see the problem number five. That is, H Limited acquired the shares on 1st August 2014. So, here by seeing the first sentence itself, it is very clear. Holding company acquires the share in the subsidiary company in the middle of the year. That is somewhere in the middle of the year, a holding company acquires the shares in the subsidiary company. Then P&L account of S Limited showed the debit balance. P&L account of S Limited showed the debit balance, that is 1,50,000 on 1/4/2014. So debit balance of P&L account is nothing but it is a loss. If credit balance of P&L account is given in the liability side, then it is a profit. But here they said debit balance means asset side there is a P&L account balance, that is 1,50,000, and this balance was there at the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, this balance was there. Then what happened, that we need to see now. See this. During June 2014, goods costing 6,000 were destroyed by fire and insurer paid only 2,000. So, what is the cost of the goods destroyed? That is 6,000, but insurer paid only 2,000. So, again, there is a loss. So, there is a loss. What is a loss? 6,000 minus 2,000, because claim settled by the insurance company is 2,000, but actual value of the goods destroyed is 6,000. So there is still 4,000 is remaining, so that is a loss. Then creditors of S Limited include rupees 20,000 for goods supplied by H Limited. That means here holding company will supply the goods to the subsidiary company, and that value is included in the subsidiary company creditor. So this is nothing but one kind of intercompany transaction. So intercompany transaction means it affects both the side. Both the side means asset side debtor, you have to deduct something, and from the liability side creditor you have to deduct something. So that we have to discuss. Then creditors of S Limited include 20,000 for the goods supplied by H Limited, on which the later company made a profit of 2,000. So unrealized stock also included in this. So how you can come to know that? See this, half of the goods were still in stock. That means among this 20,000, half. What is a half of 20,000? 10,000 is remaining in stock. So only unrealized profit arises only when if there is unsold stock. If there is no unsold stock, then there is no unrealized profit. In this case, what is the unsold stock? 20,000 divided by 2. That is the 10,000 is the unsold stock. But if you see here, in the question they have mentioned 20,000. For 20,000, 2,000 is a profit. For 10,000, how much? We have to calculate like that. For 20,000, 2,000 is a profit. For 10,000, how much? Cross multiplication if you do, you will get unrealized profit. But if you see the previous problems in which they have given either selling price or cost price, but here what happens? Here you see, here they have directly given what is the profit made on certain goods. So you have to do cross multiplication here. Then prepare balance sheet after considering the balance sheet as on 31st March 2015. So this balance sheet, whatever the balance sheet given in the question is the balance sheet of 31st March 2015. So this is very clear. And when the share acquired, that is on 1st August 2014. So what is the rule? Whenever holding company acquires the share somewhere in between, that is somewhere in the middle of the year, in that case we have to find current year profit. So current year profit, one additional working note we have to do, it may be current year profit or current year loss, so that we have to find out. So now let us see the balance sheet information once. Asset side, fixed asset is given So that is no problem. Combined value you have to show in the consolidated balance sheet. Stock, current asset, again combined value you have to show, but there is unrealized profit in this problem. So whenever there is an unrealized profit in the problem, there is a two-way deduction. So that is two-way deduction means one is from profit and loss account in the consolidated balance sheet, you have to deduct the unrealized profit, and one is from stock, you have to deduct the unrealized profit. Now debtor, again if you see debtor, there is an intercompany transaction. So whenever there is an intercompany transaction, what happens? You have to deduct certain amount from both, that is from debtor as well and from creditor as well. So that also we have to see. So what is the value of intercompany transaction? If you see the question, you will come to know that is 20,000. So you have to deduct 20,000 from both the side, that is from debtors as well and from the creditors also. Then 6% debenture in the asset side they have given. So what do you mean by this? Usually debenture comes in the liability side, but here asset side debenture means what? So this is nothing but investment made by the holding company in the subsidiary company in the form of debenture 60,000. But if you see here, what is the original value of a debenture given in the liability side? That is 1 lakh. So here what happens? That is, if you see this 6% debenture, that is of subsidiary company is given. But in the asset side, 6% debenture of holding company is given. So here again there is a, this is a concept of intercompany debt. So whenever there is a intercompany debt, what happens? You have to minus certain things from both the side. So the basic rule is you have to eliminate the investment. So when you eliminate the investment, what happens? From the asset side, investment goes off, that is 60,000 minus 60,000 zero, and in the liability side if you see, you have to deduct this 60,000 amount. So in the consolidated balance sheet, remaining value of a debenture is only 40,000. Then asset side, one more information is given, 1,500 shares in Yes Limited. So what do you mean by this? This is nothing but investment made by the holding company in the form of share in the subsidiary company. So this is an investment by holding company, but we want the subsidiary company capital. What is a subsidiary company capital given in the question? That is 2 lakh. And what is the paid up value? 100. We want number of share. Once we get the number of share, then we can easily calculate what is the majority value and what is the minority value. So how to find out that? See this 2 lakh divided by 100, if you do, you will get number of shares, that is 2,000. Then among that 2,000 shares available in the subsidiary company, holding company takes 1,500 share. So that is nothing but this is majority. Why it is majority? More than 50% of the share capital acquired by the holding company in the subsidiary company. That is why it is majority 1,500. So how to find out minority? Minority is nothing but a number of share available in the subsidiary company, that is 2,000 minus majority share. What is a majority share? That is nothing but 1,500. Deduct both, you will get the amount. That is minority here is 500. Then bank account is given. This is a current asset. You have to write combined balance. Profit and loss account, debit side information is given. That means this is a profit and loss account balance at the year end. Very important, this profit and loss account balance is at the year end. Why? Because this balance sheet is prepared at the year end. But if you see the question, there is one more profit and loss information, that is debit balance of profit and loss account 1,50,000 at the beginning of the year. There is a beginning of the year loss is given and end of the year loss is given. Debit balance means loss. So you can find out the profit with the help of this information. How to find out the profit? Beginning year loss minus end of the year loss. If you do, you will get current year profit. Yes, so like that you have to do. Then there is a loan to Yes Limited. That is nothing but loan given by the holding company to the subsidiary company. Similarly, there is loan from H Limited in the liability side. See this 50,000. So holding company gives the loan to the subsidiary company and subsidiary company records under their liability. So again, it is intercompany debt or intercompany transaction. Whenever there is an intercompany transaction, you have to cancel both. So cancel both means in the consolidated balance sheet there is no loan account at all. There is no loan account at all. Why? Because 50,000 minus 50,000 in the asset side and 50,000 minus 50,000 in the liability side, loan will be cancelled. So these are the information about the asset side. Now if you see liability side, there is a share capital of 100 each, it is given. So holding company and subsidiary company share capital we know, but for working note purpose we want only subsidiary company capital, subsidiary company reserve, subsidiary company profit and loss account. But if you see the question here, general reserve and profit and loss account information for the subsidiary company is not given. So one thing is sure in this problem, that is general reserve balance is not there. So pre-acquisition reserve and post-acquisition reserve of the subsidiary company, that is share of holding company in the subsidiary company is nil. Why? Because reserve balance itself is not available in subsidiary company. So same thing can be said for profit and loss account also. But what happens? There is a debit balance is given in the question, so you can find out the profit or loss. Either you may get pre-acquisition profit or you may get pre-acquisition loss. Debenture adjustment I have already discussed. Then creditors you have to deduct that again intercompany. Loan is not there. Yes. After seeing all this information, we have to prepare working note one by one. Working note we have to prepare. So let us see now. Before that, there is one note is given to the problem for the understanding of the problem. See this, there is a net loss of 4,000. Why there is a net loss of 4,000? We have already discussed. Total loss occurred, that is goods destroyed by fire, is 6,000, but the claim settled by the insurance company is only 2,000. So what about remaining 4,000? Such loss are not recovered. That is why it is a net loss 4,000 is available due to the stock destroyed by fire. This loss you need to be adjusted while calculating pre-acquisition and post-acquisition profit. So this is now very clear. After this, what we have to do? One by one, working note we have to see now. Working note number one. So that is nothing but calculation of pre-acquisition and post-acquisition reserve. So if you see the problem, there is no reserve. That is why no reserve means no reserve given under subsidiary company. That is why here pre-acquisition reserve is nil, post-acquisition reserve is also nil. So now this first working note is over. Even if they don't give, you have to write this working note. You have to show that is pre-acquisition and post-acquisition reserve is nil. That you have to show. Then after this, second thing comes is calculation of a pre-acquisition and post-acquisition profit. So you know here holding company acquires the share somewhere in between the year, that is in the month of August. So now what happens? Pre-acquisition month we have to calculate for the current year. Let us assume, not assuming, we know that financial year start from April and ends on March. So how many months pre-acquisition? Can you tell me now? How many months pre-acquisition? Can you tell me? Yes, acquisition happened on 1st August. How many months pre-acquisition? Can you tell me now? Yes, can you answer this? Very simple, this one. How many months pre-acquisition? Tell me. How many months? April, May, June, July. How many months? 4 months becomes pre-acquisition. And what about post-acquisition? Remaining months. That is August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So now this is very clear how many months pre and how many months post. Now let us calculate current year profit or loss. Since in the question they have given debit balance, that is at the beginning 1/4/2014, that is 1,50,000. From this you have to deduct debit balance available inside within the balance sheet. That is asset side they have given one information, that is 1 lakh. So this is debit balance at the year end. So this is, that is nothing but a loss at the year end, 1 lakh. So debit side balance of P&L account I have written. So profit for the year is 50,000. Although there is a loss at the beginning and at the end, what happens here? Loss is minimized. That is why we can take this as a profit. So now this is very clear. Beginning there was a 1,50,000 loss, but at the year end 1 lakh loss. That means your loss is minimized. That means profit had occurred. So what is a profit for the year? That is 50,000. But one more thing we want to add here is a loss at the end of the year. What is the loss at the end of the year? That is 4,000. Why we want to add this loss? See this. That is nothing but goods destroyed by fire. When goods destroyed by fire? During June, they say. During June 2014, goods costing 6,000 were destroyed by fire and insurer paid only 2,000. So 6,000 minus 2,000, that is 4,000 you have to add. Why? Because if this loss has not occurred, let us just imagine, if there is no goods destroyed by fire, then what is our current year profit? That information we want. That is why we are adding loss for the goods destroyed, that is 4,000. Then you can get actual current year's profit. What is the actual current year profit? That is 50,000 plus 4,000. That is current year profit is 54,000. So in short, you can say if there is no loss at all, that is at the year end, and if there is no loss at all because of the goods destroyed by fire, you will be getting the profit of 54,000. That is what we have calculated. After calculating current year profit, next thing we have to do here to calculate either pre-acquisition profit or loss, then post-acquisition profit or loss. So in this problem, if you see there is a loss mentioned, so of course your final answer, that is pre-acquisition loss, you will get. You won't get profit, you will get the loss. See this loss at the beginning, 1,50,000. Then we added loss of stock destroyed 4,000. Why we added this? This is very very important. That is why we have to see the date. So what is the date of loss of stock destroyed? That is in the month of June. What is our pre-acquisition period? Our pre-acquisition period is from April to July. Why? Because acquisition made on 1st August. That is why that within that pre-acquisition period, what happens? There is a loss. That is why we have to consider that loss information while calculating pre-acquisition loss. So loss of stock destroyed, that is in the month of June, that is why it is considered here 4,000. So let us imagine if this loss of stock destroyed happened after August. In that case, you should not consider this information. Very, very important. So after this, we know now total loss is 1,54,000. From that, we can minus whatever the profit available for the current year. So under current year profit, that is for April 1/4/2014 to 31st 3 2015. In that duration, our profit expected is 54,000. So from this 54,000, we know pre-acquisition period is from April to July. So we have to take 4 by 12. We want 4 months profit. So 54,000 into 4 by 12, if you do, you will get 18,000. So 18,000 is your pre-acquisition profit. But if you see the working note, here loss amount is more. That means here negative amount is more. That is why final answer you will get as net acquisition loss. So net acquisition loss is 1,36,000. That is nothing but 1,50,000 plus 4,000 minus 18,000. So now this net acquisition loss, what we have to do, that also we have to see now. So whether this is a capital loss or whether this is a capital profit, that we have to discuss. Yes, so now that is a pre-acquisition loss, let it be as it is now. Net acquisition loss 1,36,000, because we have to divide this. We have to divide this between majority and minority. So that also we have to see now. Next, there is a calculation of post acquisition profit. Post acquisition profit, 8 months current year profit. Why? Because 4 months is for pre acquisition, means remaining 8 months, that is starting from August to March, is post acquisition. So from 54,000, take 8 by 12, that is 8 months profit. You will get post acquisition profit, positive answer, that is 36,000. So once you got the pre acquisition loss, now you are getting post acquisition profit. So after doing these two working note, next thing we have to calculate is majority minority ratio. How to calculate majority minority ratio? First thing we want is share capital of a subsidiary, that is given in the asset side of the that is given in the liability side of the balance sheet. Liability side, under share capital, if you see under S limited column, you will get 2 lakh as the share capital. Paid up value is mentioned, that is 100, that is given in the balance sheet liability side. But we want number of share. How to get number of share? 2 lakh divided by 100, if you do, you will get number of share as 2,000. So out of 2,000, how many shares acquired by holding company? That is also very, very important. That information is given in the asset side. See this 1,500 share, that is nothing but investment. So that is why 1,500 becomes our majority. So remaining 500, that is 2,000 minus 1,500, that becomes minority. So we want a majority minority ratio. 1,500 is to 500. If you simplify, 0 0 cancels, 5 ones are and 5 threes are, so 3 is to 1 will be our majority minority ratio. Next thing we want fraction of majority share and minority share. How to get that? 3 plus 1, 4 unit. So majority fraction is 3 by 4, minority fraction is 1 by 4. So now this is very clear till now. Majority minority ratio, working note number 3. After this, we have to calculate minority interest. So working note number 4, that is first three basic information here we want is share capital of subsidiary, total reserve of subsidiary, and total profit of subsidiary. But in this question, total reserve and total profit of the subsidiary is not given. So we have to see now how to calculate. So here first one, under that 1 by 4 share in share capital. Share capital of the subsidiary we know 2 lakh. 2 lakh into 1 by 4, if you do, you will get 50,000. So now this is clear. Now after this, there is a total reserve calculation. 1 by 4 share in total reserve. Since total reserve itself is not available, this information is nil, 0. Now, from this you have to deduct total loss. Why we are deducting total loss? Minority interest, what we used to do, share capital, reserve and profit, we used to calculate. But here in this problem there is a loss. Since it is a loss, since it is a negative balance, we have to deduct. That is why 1 by 4 share in total loss. So now very important thing comes, which loss you have to take now. There is two loss given. One is 1,50,000 mentioned in the problems adjustment, that is P&L of S Limited debit balance 1,50,000 at the beginning, and one more thing it is mentioned, that is profit and loss account debit balance at the year end. We want year-end P&L loss account. Why? Because if we solve other problems, then we used to take year-end P&L account credit balance, but year P&L account debit balance is there. That is why we have to take year-end P&L account debit balance, that is 1 lakh. So that is a loss. So what we have to do? 1 lakh into 1 lakh into what is the fraction? What is the fraction here? 1 by 4. 1 lakh into 1 by 4, that is nothing but 25,000. So total minority interest is nothing but 50,000 minus 25,000. You will get 25,000. That is total minority interest you have to show in the liability side of the balance sheet. So now this is very clear. Liability side of the balance sheet separately you have to show this information. Now after this fourth working note, we have to see calculation of majority interest. See, I hope till now you have understood everything, because now again there is a time constraint. It is there. That is why. So now calculation of majority interest, if you see, that is fraction of majority share. We know 3:1 is a ratio. That means here fraction of majority share is 3 by 4. So share capital of subsidiary is 2 lakh. So 2 lakh into 3 by 4, if you do, you will get 1 lakh 50,000. But what you have to do with this 1 lakh 50,000, that is next question. So that is nothing but you have to set off against investment. So this is nothing but paid up value available in the subsidiary company, and investment made by the holding company is given in the asset side of the balance sheet. So that we have to compare in the separate working note. So now for the time being you have to write set off against investment. So now second one comes 3 by 4 share in pre-acquisition loss. Since you know pre-acquisition, anything which is pre is capital in nature. This we have already discussed. So here pre-acquisition profit means capital profit. Here there is a pre-acquisition loss, so it is a capital loss. Whenever there is a capital loss, you have to treat this as goodwill. That is as per accounting standard 21, that is consolidated financial statement. So what we have to do here? 1 lakh 36 pre-acquisition loss. Where we have calculated this one? In the working note number 2, if you see net acquisition loss, we have calculated 1 lakh 36,000. So 1 lakh 36,000 into 1 lakh 36,000 into 3 by 4, if you do, you will get 1 lakh 2,000. This is a capital loss. We have to treat this as goodwill. So write goodwill in front of that. Then there is no pre-acquisition reserve. If there is a pre-acquisition reserve, that information also you have to calculate under majority interest. There is no post-acquisition reserve, so no need of calculating that. There is a pre-acquisition loss we have calculated. Now there is a post-acquisition profit. Post-acquisition profit, 3 by share in post-acquisition profit is nothing but 36,000 into 3 by 4. How 36,000? Working note number 2. If you see post-acquisition profit, 54,000 into 8 by 12, that is 8 months current year profit is 36,000. That is why 36,000 into 3 by 4, if you do, you will get 27,000. Whenever it is a post, you have to consider this as a short term. So whenever it is a short term, what happens? It is a revenue profit. In front of that, you have to write revenue profit, and this information you have to show in the consolidated balance sheet. So till now we have discussed 5 working note. Any doubt regarding these 5 working note? If there is any doubt, you have to ask now, because there is lot of working notes are involved. So I want to know whether you have understood these things. Have you understood this one? Can you tell me? Akamsha, Ankita, Anusha, Ashish, Disha, Kushal, Narsimha, Nishant, Omkar, Pooja, Pramod, Pratish, Rajat, Shifali, Suresh. Yes, tell me now. Ashish, Rajat is saying yes. What about other? Have you understood? Anusha is saying yes. I hope whatever discussed till now is very, very clear. Yes, Pratish, yes, Kushal. So now we have to move. We have to move to the working note number 6. Working note number 6 is nothing but cost of control. Cost of control is nothing but goodwill amount. goodwill amount we have to calculate. So first thing we want is the cost of investment. So cost of investment is given in the asset side, that is holding company invested in a subsidiary company. If you see the question, they have given 1,20,000. See this 1,500 share in S Limited, 1,20,000. That means 1,20,000 is our cost of investment. Okay. Now from that you have to deduct the paid up value. Paid up value, how to deduct? You either you can see the majority interest calculation once. Under that first amount itself is the paid up value. 1,50,000 set off against investment, so this amount you have to write 1,50,000, or else you can do majority shares into paid up value, then also you will get the same amount, 1,50,000. So now next question is here whether holding company is paying more or less. That is next question. So paid up value is 1,50,000. Holding company is paying only 1,20,000. So here holding company is paying less. Whenever holding company is paying less, then it is a profit to the holding company. Whenever there is a profit to the holding company, it is treated as a capital profit. Capital profit is treated as a capital reserve as per accounting standard 21. That is why your answer is a capital reserve. So that is 30,000, 1,20,000 and 1,50,000. Holding company is making a profit of 30,000. That means holding company saved 30,000 while acquiring the shares in the subsidiary company. That is working note number 6. Then working note number 7, set off of capital reserve against goodwill. So how to set off this? First we want a total capital reserve. Where we got total capital reserve in the previous working note itself, capital reserve total we got. So same total capital reserve, because in the majority interest there is no capital reserve, or else we have to see majority interest also. But in this question there is no capital reserve, so directly from the previous working note, that is cost of control, total capital reserve is 30,000. From this you have to deduct total goodwill. Total goodwill how to deduct? Now total goodwill you can deduct by seeing the majority interest working note. Once we will see the majority interest working note, there you have written for pre-acquisition loss goodwill. So our total goodwill answer is 1,02,000. So same amount you have to write here. Same amount you have to write here, less total goodwill 1,02,000. Why we are doing this setting off? Because in consolidated balance sheet we can either show capital reserve or goodwill, we cannot show both. So now if you see negative balance is less, that is negative balance means liability side balance is less and positive balance is more. That is why your answer will be positive. That is net goodwill. Net goodwill is 72,000. This information you have to show in the asset side of the consolidated balance sheet. This is working note number 7. So after doing these working notes, there is intercompany dealings. Now intercompany dealings we have to see, that is elimination of intercompany dealings. First one, in the asset side there is a loan given, that we have already discussed. See this, let us see the question once again, then you will understand better. See this loan given by the S company is 50,000 is mentioned. Loan from H Limited in the subsidiary company column is 50,000 is written. That means what? It is intercompany. One company is giving the loan to another company. Just cancel this. Just cancel this. That is 50,000 minus 50,000. So first adjustment is nil. So what is our intercompany first adjustment? Loan amount is nil. That is loan from H Limited and loan to S Limited is to be cancelled. Next there is a debenture. Okay. Now next there is a debenture intercompany debt. Intercompany debt is there. That is a debenture of S Limited. Liability side in the balance sheet is 1 lakh, and investment of H, that is asset side debenture, they have given 60,000. So investment has to be cancelled off. So 60,000 you have to deduct from both the side. Asset side also you have to deduct 60,000. Liability side also you have to deduct 60,000. That is why less intercompany 60,000 from debenture liability side, you will get 40,000 remaining liability side debenture, then investment is cancelled. See this 60,000 less intercompany 60,000, asset side now nil. So in the consolidated balance sheet you have to show only 40,000 in the liability side in the form of debenture. That is second intercompany debt. When there is a supply of goods from one company to another company, so what happens here? Creditor of a subsidiary company includes the goods received by the holding company. So that value is given in the adjustment 20,000. So 20,000 you have to deduct from both. That we have to discuss now. So creditor of H Limited given in the question 75,000. Creditor of S Limited given in the balance sheet 45,000. We have to combine both. First, once we combine, we will get a total creditor. Total creditor is 1,20,000. From this adjustment amount intercompany, we have to do we have to deduct that is 20,000. So final answer, that is final creditor, you have to show in the consolidated balance sheet is 1 lakh. Similarly, you have to do for asset side also. If you see asset side, holding company debtor is 60,000 and debtor of subsidiary company is 30,000. So we want to combine the debtor, that is total debtor is 90,000. From this we have to deduct intercompany 20,000. So here if you see asset side also 20,000 is deducted, liability side also 20,000 is deducted. So total now you have to show under debtor in consolidated balance sheet is 70,000. So now this is very clear till here. Elimination of intercompany dealing. So now after this there is next working note, that is working note number 9, that is treatment of unrealized profit. So for treatment of unrealized profit in the adjustment they said 20,000. On this 20,000 what happens, 2,000 profit is made. So let us see the question once again. Let us see the question, then we will come to know. See the question now. See this. Here they have given in the adjustment creditors of SC included 20,000 for the goods supplied by H, on which later company made the profit of 2,000. So who is a later company here? Who is a later company here? Holding company is making the profit. So holding company is a later company because holding company sent the goods to the subsidiary company. So now for 20,000, 2,000 is a profit, but they say half of the goods were still in stock. That means 20,000 divided by 2, if you do 10,000 worth of goods there in stock, that is nothing but closing stock is available in subsidiary company. So for 10,000 what is the profit we have to calculate. So let us see the now working note, treatment of unrealized profit. 20,000, 2,000 is a profit. For 10,000 how much? We have to do cross multiplication. 10,000 into 2,000 divided by 20,000, if you do, you will get unrealized profit as 1,000. So this 1,000 you have to deduct from profit and loss account and from stock in the balance sheet. That is nothing but you have to deduct this information from the both the side. Both the side, asset side under stock you have to deduct, and liability side under profit and loss account you have to deduct. So till now have you understood all the working note? Can you tell me now, have you understood this all the working note, all 9 to 10 working note? Have you understood? Akamsha, Ankita, Anusha, Ashish, Disha, Kushal, Narasimha, Nishant, Omkar, Pooja, Pramod, Pratish, Rajat, Shifali, Suresh. Can you tell me, have you understood this one? Ashish is saying yes, Pramod is saying yes, Rajat is saying yes, Anusha, Ankita, yes. So after, yes, Disha, Narasimha, so Shifali. So what happens now? You have to do consolidated balance sheet after doing all these working note. So now let us see the consolidated balance sheet. Consolidated balance sheet means a combined balance sheet of holding company and subsidiary company. If you see asset side, we have written goodwill. Why we have written goodwill? Because we got goodwill. Net positive answer we got. Where we got that net positive answer? Set off against capital reserve and goodwill. If you see net goodwill, we got 72,000. This amount you have to show in the asset side as goodwill. So goodwill is 72,000. What about fixed asset? Fixed asset is nothing but you have to write the combined amount, whatever given in the balance sheet. So holding company fixed asset is 3 lakh, subsidiary company fixed asset is 2 lakh. Combined amount you write, that is 5 lakh. What about stock now? Stock also, holding company stock is given in the balance sheet, that is 90,000. Subsidiary company is 40,000, but there is adjustment. What is this adjustment? You have to deduct unrealized profit. Where you got unrealized profit? Treatment number 9, working note number 9, 1,000. So that 1,000 you have to deduct from stock. So you will get 1,20,000, 1,29,000. That is 1,30,000 minus 1,000 as a stock amount. As a stock amount. So after that there is a debtor. So for this, again we have to see the question. Once again, we'll see the question now. Very quickly, we have to see the question. See this, we are writing combined amount 90 plus 40 stock, that is 1 lakh 30 minus 1000 unrealized profit. Now debtor, combined debtor, we know 60 plus 30, that is 90, but there is intercompany. Intercompany we have written under working note, so that answer we have to take. Where we have written about creditor, see debtor, see this 70,000. Final debtor we have to show in the consolidated balance sheet, that is 70,000, working note number 8. So same amount you have to show here. Debtor 90 minus 20, that is 70,000. Debtor is 70,000. What about bank? There is no adjustment. You have to write combined bank. Holding company 75,000, subsidiary company 25,000, combined bank, that is current asset, is 1 lakh. So all the asset side information we have discussed. Now let us see the liability side information now. Liability side information, if you see, there is a share capital. Share capital 100 each of H Limited is 5 lakh we have written. So once again, if you see the question, we have to write only holding company share capital. Why? What about subsidiary company share capital? It is cancelled. It is cancelled means some of the share capital is taken by the majority, some of the share capital is taken by the minority. That is nothing but third party or outsider. That is why you should not consider this subsidiary company share capital. Only holding company share capital 5 lakh you have to consider. Now next information you have to write is general reserve. General reserve of the holding company is given 1 lakh. What about other thing? What about other information? Other general reserve is not there. So general reserve of H Limited is only 1 lakh. If there was a reserve of subsidiary companies given, then we should consider post acquisition reserve of majority. That amount we have to add to this general reserve of holding company. But in this question, that is not given. That is why you should not consider only H Limited. Now next is profit and loss account. We have to see profit and loss account here. Holding limited, that is H Limited profit balance is given, that is 80,000. S Limited is 27,000. So where it is given in the question, liability side holding company information is given, but you know under subsidiary company there is no profit and loss account information. There is a loss. We have discussed this. There is a loss. Now what we have to do? Now subsidiary company majority interest working note we have to see. Just we will see the majority interest working note. Wherever you have written revenue profit, wherever you have written revenue, that information you have to consider for consolidated balance sheet. So post acquisition profit, that is you have to write under subsidiary company column, that is 27,000. So write that 27,000 under profit of subsidiary company. Under bracket you can write post majority profit minus unrealized profit. Again you have to deduct unrealized profit, isn't it? Unrealized profit you have to deduct from the both the side. One is from stock, see this, one is from profit and loss account. So minus 1000, working note number 9. So profit and loss account final amount is 1,06,000. What about creditor? There is an intercompany 20,000, working note number 8. That is 1,20,000 is a total creditor. From that 20,000 is adjustment amount. You have to deduct from debtor also 20,000 you have to deduct. From creditor also 20,000 you have to deduct. So what happens? Final creditor is 1 lakh. Similarly now debenture. If you see debenture, asset side debenture is not there. Why? Because it is cancelled. 60,000 minus 60,000, that is cancelled. Now remaining debenture, that is intercompany debt, 1 lakh minus 60,000. Liability side remaining debenture, again working note number 8. If you see, you will get the answer as 40,000. Last one information you have to write is about minority interest. This we have calculated under calculation of minority interest total, that is 50 minus 25,000, that is 25,000 you have to show separately. Now final total of the balance sheet is 8,71,000. That is both the side total of the balance sheet.